Hello and welcome to the class. In this first lesson, I'm going to attempt to convince you to self-publish your book by providing a biased view of self-publishing versus traditional publishing. In the last lesson, I'll explain how to do it. But for now, let's begin with an overview of traditional publishing. This is how it used to work, and it's not much different today. First, you find an agent. Then you find a publisher. And what you find out you found is just two new masters to serve. Or even worse, you publish through a vanity press and pay for an inventory and have to store hundreds of paperbacks somewhere. Could there be a better way? Yes, there is. Enter two enabling technologies that changed everything for the self-published author. First, ebooks allow the distribution of electronic versions of the written material all over the world. Print on demand means that books are printed and mailed by companies like CreateSpace for you as the book is bought. No more maintaining expensive inventories of print books. No more having to go through publishers to distribute your words to electronic readers. And this is all free. You share a percentage of your revenue with the publisher. Now, let's go over why you should self-publish. First, don't waste your time looking for a publisher. Publish on your own schedule. Don't get restricted to 1 or 2 books a year, or even having to wait 2 years to publish. Publish what you want. If you want to do werewolves, you do werewolves. You don't get forced to do vampires, and you publish how you want, the places you want. No upfront costs, no inventories to maintain, and you set a competitive book price. No more $7.99 and $9.99 ebooks. And finally, you get up to 70% of the list price of an ebook. Now, this is an important figure, so let's start looking at some of the numbers. Using the traditional publishing method, you sell a book on Amazon, or your publisher does, for $4.99. Amazon's cut is 35%, your publisher gets 65%. That means that you get about $3.25. But wait, your publisher's cut is 75%, your agent's cut is 25%, which means that you're down to about 81 cents per book. But wait, your agent's cut is 15%, yours is 85%. So your 81 cents per book gets cut down to 69 cents, or 13% of the original price. 70% versus 13% is a large discrepancy. Now let's look at the self-publishing revenue. You sell a book on Amazon for $2.99 instead of $4.99. Amazon's cut is 30%, yours is 70%. Easy math. You make $2.09 per book. That's it. No other cuts. You get 3 times the revenue per book sold for a book that's 40% of the cost to your reader. What a deal. You should be able to make money, right? Still skeptical, huh? Well, enter my wife, Melanie Jackson, best-selling author of romance and cozy mystery. She's an interesting case study in both traditional and self-publishing. First, let's look at her traditional publishing. From November 1999 through 2010, she published 23 romance novels with Dorchester Publishing in New York. That's more than 2 novels per year. During the best year, though, she made $10,000 in royalties. Now, let's look at the self-publishing history of the same person. In August 2010, I convinced Melanie to allow me to self-publish her first cozy mystery, Moving Violation. In 2011, we made $198,000 self-publishing. In March of 2011 alone, we made $27,654.67. In January of 2011, Moving Violation made $8,321.33 just on Amazon, and that's just one book. Now, you probably think that you're dealing with a bestseller. Unfortunately, our sales continued to slip until now we're making about $1,500 a month, or about $18,000 a year. And guess what? That's still better than her best traditional publishing year of $10,000. Let's look at the pros of self-publishing. You're in charge of everything. Research, outlining, writing, editing, book cover, publishing, advertising, and website. You own it all, and you can make it exactly the way that you want it. Now let's look at the cons of self-publishing. You're in charge of everything. Research, outlining, writing, editing, book cover, publishing, advertising, and the website. Yeah, that's right. The pros are the cons, depending on how you look at it, and sometimes it goes either way. It's a double-edged sword. Except there are several thousand self-published authors like me ready to help you. Now, there must be some pros to traditional publishing. Well, for one thing, you get free copy editing, which can cost up to $300 for a decent copy editor. But is that worth giving up 87% of your revenue? You get a free book cover, but I'm going to show you how to make a free book cover in my Skillshare book cover series. And don't be deluded into thinking you'll get lots of free advertising out of your publisher. Most publishing houses require authors to promote themselves and to even bring their own eager readership to the table. Suddenly the traditional publishing route isn't looking so good. Ultimately, ask yourself this: might I be better prepared to find and win over an agent and publisher if I'd already released several self-published books? When you weigh things, I think you're going to find that self-publishing wins out over traditional publishing. Here's what I recommend. Self-publish a book. See if self-publishing is for you. See if you make money. Gain better insight into the publishing process and industry. And depending on what happens, you may continue or you may go the traditional route. And I'll see you in the next lesson.